Good day to all of you. This is your registered migration agent, attorney Reynante P. Sulit with matter registration number 1382407. I am the principal migration agent of RPS Migration. Our main office is here in Melbourne, and we do have offices in Sydney as well as in Brisbane. We have RPS Dubai, Singapore, as well as offices in the Philippines. Our topic for today is fast track registration to residency for nurses through outcomes based assessment with PTE Made Easy. This is our original program that has been running for over a decade now, helping nurses get registered here in Australia and get their immigrant status here in Australia. So it is really a one-stop shop program that we are offering to our internationally qualified nurses. And this is for Stream B candidates working outside of the United States of America, United Kingdom, Ireland, Singapore, Ontario, and British Columbia in Canada, as well as in Spain. So, majority of our nurses belong to this Stream B, and I'm very excited to share with you the process of our program. So, to start with, so we need to know the mode of assessment, no, by APRA in coordination with the NMBA, which is the board of nursing. No, this is the nursing and midwifery board here in Australia, and it is under APRA. So there are several pathways on how to become a registered nurse here in Australia. First is the university pathway. Here, the internationally qualified nurses may either do a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year course here depending on the assessment of the university. Sometimes the university gives a 1 year credit transfer, so internationally qualified nurses have to do a 2 year course of Bachelor of Nursing, or sometimes the university gives a 2 year credit transfer. So that's why the international qualified nurses do a 1 year conversion course. So whichever is applicable for you, these courses lead to APRA registration here in Australia because you are converting your overseas degree to a bachelor degree here in Australia, an Australian qualification. Um, majority of the schools, universities here in Victoria, specifically in Melbourne, give a 1 year conversion course. In New South Wales, we do have universities that give, or most of them give, a 2 year course. In South Australia, there are universities that give 1 year and 2 years, and in Western Australia, they do have a 1 year or 2 year conversion course, and in Queensland, the majority or most of them give a 2 year conversion course. Other candidates may also do the Masters of Nursing that is higher than the Bachelor qualification. Sometimes the candidates use this because, especially if they have partners or spouse, because their spouse can work full time, no, if they do the Masters of Nursing. So regardless whether you do a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years or Masters of Nursing, these courses are considered as university pathway, converting your overseas degree to an Australian qualification, and this leads to AFRA registration, and that is the university pathway. Now, I would like to share with you the second mode of assessment, which is the Trans-Tasman Mutual Recognition, or the TTMR. This is an arrangement between New Zealand and Australia, wherein they give recognition of certain professions, for example, nursing, to practice in each other jurisdiction. So, meaning to say that if you are a registered nurse in New Zealand, you can also practice here in Australia by getting a mutual recognition of your qualifications. All you need to do is to apply to APRA and fill out the TTMR form, and then in a week time or in 2 weeks, you will get your registration in APRA. And if you are already a registered nurse in New Zealand, you may as well apply for the ANMAC assessment right away. You don't need to convert your your nursing degree or the nursing qualifications in New Zealand to, or your license in New Zealand to Australia, because ANMAC accepts that nursing qualifications or nursing registration. Um, I can still remember that some of our nurses from Singapore, Ireland, and United Kingdom before July 1 of 2024, they are doing the direct registration to New Zealand, because Singapore, Ireland, and United Kingdom prior July 1, 2024 have the same level of health standards. That's why they can apply directly to Nursing Council of New Zealand for their registration. And then once they get registered in New Zealand, they apply for TTMR here in Australia. And that's why many of my nurses do that route. No? However, after July 1, 2024, Nursing Council of New Zealand had stopped that one, no? Had stopped that route. So if you are not an original graduate, or if you did not gain your bachelor degree originally in Ireland or United Kingdom or in the United States, you cannot apply direct registration to New Zealand. So those nurses from Singapore, Ireland, and United Kingdom who gained their qualifications originally, for example, in the Philippines, Nepal, or India, they have to do the competence assessment. They can never apply for direct registration anymore, and conversely speaking, they cannot do the TTMR. And that's what happened after July 1, 2024. That's the TTMR, the second pathway of the mode assessment, or the second pathway of becoming a registered nurse here in Australia. The third one is the outcomes-based assessment, the most popular and the widely used pathway for international qualified nurses. Maybe 70% of my, or 80% of nurses, no, do this outcomes-based assessment. This is the newest approach of APRA in assessing internationally qualified nurses that is focused on the qualifications, and this began on March 2020. As we all know, the outcomes-based assessment currently has this NCLEX and this OSCE. The NCLEX is the theoretical part of the examination, while the OSCE is the clinical part of the examination. So I'll be discussing more of this when we reach this outcomes-based assessment, because this information session is solely for outcomes-based assessment for candidates under Stream B who will undergo the outcomes-based assessment. And the fourth one will be the direct registration. Remember, there was a direct registration in New Zealand before, prior July 1, 2024. In April 2025, here in Australia, they will have a direct registration. So creating another pathway under Stream B. So for Stream B candidates, those who hold relevant qualifications, remember the operating word relevant qualifications, which I will discuss later. Those who hold relevant qualifications, they will undergo the outcomes-based assessment. Direct registration for those who have substantially equivalent, no? For those who have substantially equivalent qualifications, they are going to do the direct registration. Mentioned before, so Nursing Council of New Zealand has this direct registration, but after July 1, 2024, the direct registration was scrapped, right? However, in Australia, this coming April 2025, the direct registration will be implemented. So meaning to say that those who belong under Stream B with relevant qualifications but practicing with 1,800 hours or at least or more than a year, and who passed the examination, who's passed examination in Singapore, in Ireland, in United Kingdom, Spain, provinces of Ontario, and British Columbia, they can apply for direct registration here in Australia. And this is happening on April 2025. I will be discussing more about direct registration in another video because this video is purposely for the outcomes-based assessment. So now, the direct registration is giving those who are working, who are registered and working in the comparable jurisdictions such as Singapore, Ireland, United Kingdom, Spain, provinces of Ontario, and British Columbia, and of course United States of America. So, and this will happen in April 2025. So again, there are four pathways or mode of assessment in becoming an Australian registered nurse. Number one is the university pathway, two, TTMR or the Trans-Tasman, third is the OBA, and fourth is the direct registration, which will happen in April 2025. Now, I would like to give you a brief background of the current model of assessment, which is the OBA. As of March 2020, no, the NMBA, the board, no, transitioned to a new assessment model for IQNM. Before OBA, there was a bridging course. No, the bridging course had undergone several changes from 6 weeks, then it became 12 weeks, then it became 6 months. So from bridging course, it became to epic. And then this March 2020, I think it was like COVID times, no? When we were launching this, when APRA launched this, it was COVID time on March 2020, and it transitioned from bridging course to new model of assessment, and this is called the outcomes based assessment. And the assessment is based on section 53 of the national law here in Australia. And the difference of this new model of assessment, this is focused on the qualifications only of the nurses. That's why most of our nurses, or some of our nurses who do not have like experience, can proceed with outcomes based assessment because the APRA is only looking on the qualifications, no? Other practice history elements, if for example your experience and your registrations are not considered in this assessment. And this new model, no, this new model of assessment has categorized the nurses into three streams, no, stream A, stream B, and stream C. And let's have a look first. What is stream A? What is stream B? And what is stream C? Now, for stream A, the IQNM holds a qualifications considered substantially equivalent and based on similar competence to an MBA qualifications, approved qualifications. Remember, if you belong to stream A, you have a substantially equivalent qualifications. So, and according to APRA, most of the nurses who applied for this are those nurses from United Kingdom, from Ireland, and from the United States of America. Now, let's have a look at the flow, no? Let's have a look at the flow of the application. So the qualification assessment portfolio, and then they have the orientation, and then they will be invited to apply for registration for 15 days. No, in 7 to 14 days, they will get their registration right away. Let's have a look at the flow chart of the stream A for nurses, for international qualified nurses. Here we do have the self-assessment, and then you will do the orientation first, and then after that you will be invited to apply for registration direct because you have the qualifications that is substantially equivalent and comparable to the Australian degree, and then you will get your registration in Australia. So that's the flow chart for stream A. Now, let's have a look at stream B. This is this is for the international qualified nurses who hold a relevant qualifications and must complete the outcomes-based assessment. Most of my candidates belong to this stream B, and according to OPRA, most of the nurses, the top three qualifications for practitioners progressing through stream B were from India, the Philippines, and Nepal. All right, so Stream B has the relevant qualification. Stream A has the substantially equivalent qualification. Stream B has the relevant qualifications, and we're going to explain what is the relevant qualification later. Let's have a look at the international qualified nurses journey through Stream B. So you have here the portfolio, and then you will do the orientation. Then after that, you will receive a decision letter, and then you are going to do the OBA pathway. You will be asked to sit for NCLEX and for the OSCE. And then once you pass this examination together with other mandatory standards like English tests, and then you have your international criminal history check, and of course the professional indemnity insurance, and then you will be registered in Australia. So that is the flow for Stream B under OBA. For Stream C, so the international qualified nurse has neither relevant or substantially equivalent qualification. That's why they might do first the bachelor degree here in Australia in order to convert their degree to Australian degree. Let's have a look at the current criteria. So the NMBA uses three criteria in order to determine whether the nurse belongs to Stream A, Stream B, or Stream C. So as we mentioned, Stream A has the substantially equivalent qualification, Stream B has the relevant qualification, Stream C has neither relevant nor substantially equivalent qualification. Now, let's dive deeper into these three criteria. What are these three criteria that NMBA uses? I still remember during bridging course, there were 8 criteria, and then suddenly the NMBA reduced it to 3 criteria, and until now these criteria are being used by NMBA to classify whether you are under Stream A, you are under Stream B, or Stream C. So for Stream A, you have to prove that you satisfy all 3 criteria. And the first criteria is the qualification recognized for registration. So, for example, if you finish your bachelor degree overseas and you are allowed to take the examination, the licensure examination by the licensing body, then your qualification is recognized for registration. So Stream A has that, no, and together with Stream B. So for example, in the Philippines, if you finish Bachelor of Nursing in the Philippines and then you're allowed to take the board examination for nursing by the PRC, so your qualification is recognized for registration. Now let's have a look at the number 2. Quality assurance and accreditation. So at the time the qualification was received as a registered nurse or enrolled nurse or midwife, the qualification was subject to quality assurance, no, and recognized or accredited by body external to the education institution and based on published accreditation standards. This is where the Philippine graduates fail, Philippine nurses fail, because it's the most of the schools, no, or all schools in the Philippines cannot provide the quality assurance and accreditation to the level of Australian standards. That's why those who are under Stream B may not satisfy this criterion. So that's why if you, for example, if you cannot satisfy this, then you will be classified under Stream B. Stream A satisfy number 1, the quality, your qualification is recognized for registration, and then Number 2 is also satisfied by Stream A, but Stream B cannot satisfy this quality assurance and accreditation. Now, look at the qualifications that are unlikely to meet criterion 2. So these are some of the countries that are published on their APRA website. And here you can see the Philippines. All right? Qualifications that are unlikely to meet criterion number 2. So if you are not meeting criteria number 2, but you meet criteria number 1 and criteria number 3, then you are classified under Stream B. Okay. However, if you satisfy qualification criteria number 1, number 2, and number 3, you are Stream A candidate. So, but for Philippine candidates, we are under Stream B because we satisfy Stream criteria number 1, qualifications recognized for registration, and number 3 criterion, which is academic level of qualifications. So because we have a bachelor degree at level 7 in the Philippines, so that's why if you satisfy either criterion number 1 and 2, you are under Stream B. If you satisfy criteria number 1 and 3, you're under Stream B. Philippines satisfies criteria number 1 and criterion number 3 because we cannot satisfy criterion number 2. Now, let's have a look, the outcome of the IQM qualifications assessment. So if you satisfy, as mentioned, criteria number 1, 2, and 3, then you are considered, you are considered as having substantially equivalent qualification. But if you meet criteria number 1, either 2 or 3, then you have a relevant qualification. So now we know that relevant qualification is meeting criteria number 1 or either 2 or 3. Okay. Now for Stream C, where the qualifications only meet criteria number 1 and do not meet criteria number 2 or criteria number 3. That's what you call Stream C. Only criteria number 1 is recognized but not is achieved or is met, but not 2 or 3. Okay. So this is the relevant qualification as mentioned to you. We satisfy criteria number 1, qualifications considered for registration, or criteria number 2 or 3 for the Philippines, 3, the academic level of qualification. So that's why the relevant qualification under Stream B. Now let's talk about the outcomes-based assessment. Since graduates, nursing graduates from the Philippines and registered from the Philippines, Nepal, and India, generally do the outcomes-based assessment. And this is the newest approach of APRA in assessing internationally qualified nurses. Now, the OBA has two parts. One is the theoretical part of the examination, and the other one is the OSCE, which is the clinical part of the examination. Theoretical part is called NCLEX as of the moment. That's why if you have a result of NCLEX in the US and it is valid within the last 10 years, then it can be used to skip NCLEX in Australia and you can go directly to OSCE. Now, with regard to the clinical part of the examination, so this is the objective structured clinical examination. It has 10 stations, like for example, your vital signs, your ISBAR, your BLS, focus assessment, PT reaction or initiation, and other stations. You really need to pass this 10 station. You must achieve 7 out of 10 at least in order to pass this OSCE. But don't you worry, because Australian certified trainers is our partner, no, to help our nurses pass it. And Australian certified trainers is very successful to achieve 100%, no, passing rate last September here in Australia. The only training center that can deliver, no, the most comprehensive, the most intensive OSCE reviews here in Australia. So that's why once you engage RPS migration under this program, it's really a one-stop shop. You don't need to look for any other review center for NCLEX, because we do have a third-party organization that is delivering NCLEX review, and that is free review at RPS migration. And then for the OSCE, we do have the Australian certified trainers that is helping us, that is helping our candidates pass this OSCE, and you will be in good hands. There is, we do have the online preliminaries, then after that you will have the battery test and the mock test, and the face-to-face is very intensive. It's like 14 days non-stop. And our candidates are so happy to experience such intensive and comprehensive review here in Australia. Now, once you pass this examination, you really need to meet as well other mandatory standards. Especially, these standards will be in full force. No, the new standards in full force this coming April 2025. So the criminal history, the English language, the continuing professional development, the recency of practice, and your professional indemnity insurance. The recency of practice is about your connection, your current connection with your profession. Huh? So that's how that's how APRA interprets it. No, it has no hours as long as you are connected with your current profession. So now our program for our nurses, no? Our program for our nurses is fast track registration to residency, combining the registration process through OBA and the residency program, which is the migration. Being a registered migration agent myself, I can help you become immigrants here in Australia together with your immediate family, your spouse, and your children if you have. That's why many of our nurses are very happy because their investment is secured. No, why do I have this program until residency? Because the mindset should be you should become a resident. What if you avail only the registration and you cannot find a job? Okay, that is very concerning, because you need to become a resident in order to be secured in your investment. And I will discuss later the benefits of becoming an immigrant here. Now, the goals of the program is not only registration but also residency. It is a combination. You cannot find any other program in the market, no, except at RPS Migration, because I have been running this for over a decade, and there is no one here in Australia that can help you in both aspects, the registration and the residency. Imagine RPS Migration has its own training center for the OBA, and that is Australian Certified Trainers, the premium review center or training center here in Australia, and of course the residency under RPS Migration. It has been running for over a decade, and it is well loved by our candidates. Now, once you become an Australian registered nurse, what is next, right? So, of course, once you become a registered nurse here in Australia, so it increases your employability, paving way for skilled in demand visa. So, meaning to say, you can apply for the job, no? So, RPS Migration is very clear from the very start that we are not a recruitment agency. You are engaging us because you want to become a registered nurse and a resident here in Australia. Looking for a job is the candidate's role. No, however, we do have like some friends, no, some partner employers who are requesting for their CV, so we can send the CV. But with regard to being employed, you and the employer will talk about it, no? So because we don't want to meddle or to act on your behalf with regard to the employment. Opens opportunities for subclass 186, which is the employee sponsored direct permanent resident, and then 189, 190, 491, and 489. So these are the residency visa. Those start those 189 and 190 are the permanent residents, and 491 and 489 are the temporary residents. No, qualifies also for 407 visa or the traineeship visa. So really, the once you become a registered nurse here, it really opens, no, a lot of opportunities for you, and that is the first stage. Now, what are the eligibility criteria for 482 visa? How can you find a job? First, you must be a registered nurse here in Australia, and we can help you on that. You must have at least 1 year of experience, the sponsorship and nomination. No? So, if you have at least 1 year of experience, that qualifies you for the job. But of course, looking for a job is very tough, very challenging, because the employer will be looking at the skill set, at the experience. No? So, and these are the basic qualifications or the eligibility criteria for subclass 482. Now, for 186, which is the employee-sponsored visa, you must have at least 3 years of experience. You must be a registered nurse, and you must have a sponsor, and there must have an approved nomination. Now, for the skilled migration visa 189, 190, 489. So this is a point tested visa, meaning to say that your attributes like your age, like your English proficiency, your qualifications, your experience have corresponding points, and our case officers will be assessing you on whether or not you are qualified for the skilled migration visa. Of course, this comes next after you get your registration as a nurse. You must have no medical conditions such as autism, no, of one of the applicants, no, or kidney failure, something like that. And you must be less than 45 years old as well, no, for the skilled migration in order to become a permanent resident or resident here in Australia. Now let's look at the costs and charges that are entailed in the outcomes-based assessment. I am showing you the basic government fees. As in Australia, it's really an investment. No, you have to pay directly to the Australian government or third-party organization the costs and charges that are relevant to what you are doing. Say, for example, the APRA pre-registration, you're going to pay it in APRA when you lodge it. So this is like pay as you go. This is on schedule. You are not going to pay this all at once. So most of the candidates that fail to proceed with their aspiration or goal, no, in this program is that they are looking already at the total costs, and they're going to save for it. This is Australian dollars. You don't need to do that. You may start, no, and pay as you go. And of course, you must have as well the capital, because this is an investment. Coming to Australia is not like going to Dubai or going to Middle East, where you are going to where there is someone who will sponsor you, and someone you will not pay anything, and then you work. Here in Australia, you are applying to become an immigrant. No, there is no other country that is more welcoming than Australia for our registered nurses, and we have RPS migration to make it happen for you. And you have here the exam. You are going to pay when you take the exam. The OSCE training is payable to Australian certified trainers when you do the training. Okay, so these are the costs and charges, and these are payable on schedule. Okay, now As you can see for the visa pricing, no, for example, you reach your visa stage, so you get invited for permanent residency, because once you get your registration, I'm going to have the skills assessment, the expression of interest. Then once you get invited, you are going to lodge the visa, and these are the costs of the visa. Say for example, you are single, so you're going to pay this amount directly to Australian government. And then if you have a spouse, then this is a spouse. And then if you have children, you're going to add your children. So meaning to say that we are very certain. No, we are very certain that you are almost there, that you have a reasonable chance of success in getting the residency visa. So, and you're going to pay this once you get invited, so you don't need to worry about it. No, that's why if you are strategic enough and street smart, you're going to start now, and then we are going to guide you. No, say for example, if your funds are good, no, well and good, that's okay. If you are really saving, no, so we can start, and then we are going to have that timing, no, so that you are starting somewhere, you are starting now, and you are really working on your goal to become a registered nurse and a resident here in Australia. So look at the benefits of residence in Australia. You see, the costs that you are going to spend, or the benefits outweigh, no, the cost that you are going to spend. Look at this. The most important thing here is having the Medicare. No, you will have the Medicare, who never gets old, who never gets sick. Whenever you want to get a checkup, no, about your health, you can go to the doctor here and show your Medicare card. Okay, so that's a plus. From that, for that Medicare alone, your investment in Australia is really amazing. There is a return of investment as well, and you must do it while you are in your prime, no, because Australia will not accept, no, those who are over 45 years old, no. So look at this. You can also apply for bank loans to buy property, and of course you can also um, apply for Australian citizenship, and of course you can also work in New Zealand if you like. So these and more are the benefits of permanent resident in Australia. That's why I'm pursuing residency. Not only registration, but you must have your residency. In Australia, you have the work-life balance. Now you really have to know that, and it's very good. I've been in this country for 16 years, and it has changed my life dramatically. And most of my clients, no, are loving, or all my clients are loving Australia, and they are now citizens. And of course, that is, I think, one of the best decisions they have ever made in their lives. Now, I prepared here some frequently asked questions. Say, for example, what is the timeline of the process? So, for the first stage registration, it's less than a year, maybe 6 to 9 months, you are done. And then for the migration process, another 9 months minimum. So, really, our relationship as a migration agent and a client will take about 2 years. However, you are doing something for the first 3 months, you are going to sit for your NCLEX. For the next 3 months, you're going to sit for your OSCE. All right? You have to start somewhere. Start now so that the process is commencing. Now, do I need to pay the whole amount right away? No, because the payment is on schedule. No, so you are going to pay as you go. For the processing fee at RPS Migration, we are going to send you the the list, no, of our processing fee, and you will see that it is installment. It is based on the progress of your application. So that's why we are being paid by the block of work we have done for you. What if I don't have experience and experience. Can I proceed? Yes, under OBA, because the focus is on qualifications. You need to pass two examinations together with other mandatory standards. I am turning 45. What are my options? If you are turning 45 anytime soon, don't you worry. Just concentrate on being a registered nurse, and then you can stay on the working visa. And because the working visa doesn't have age limit, you may of course apply for TTMR in New Zealand, because in New Zealand it's until 55 years old. So that's why I don't want to many of our nurses from Saudi Arabia or from the Middle East, no, come to me, and they are turning 45 because they have been busy, they have been like doing a lot of things in the past. Now, if you heard this program as early as now and you are in your prime, now you have to start now, okay? What are the medical conditions that may affect our qualification application? In Australia, one fails, all fail. In the medical conditions that are significant, that attract significant costs, are autism, severe kidney failure, heart problems, something like that. Okay, so any immediate family member only, your spouse or your children only. Can I only avail registration? Yes, you may avail only registration, but I'm telling you again, I want to emphasize that residency should be the end game. Because what if you get registered and you cannot find a job, right? So that's why fast track registration to residency is a win-win solution for you. Do not expose yourself to risk if you avail only registration. Avail registration and residency. Now, how do we prepare for NCLEX and OSCE? Don't you worry about that, because RPS Migration um, will do it for you. Australian Certified Trainers will coordinate with our third-party organization for the NCLEX review and for the OSCE here in Australia. Australian Certified Trainers will handle it for you. The most comprehensive, the most intensive. Even if you research now out there, we are winning, no, day by day, because many of our clients are very happy about our performance, our program. I already have NCLEX US. Can I use it? Yes, provided that your result is within the last 10 years. No, you're going to transfer your NCLEX US to Australia. There are third-party organizations that are doing it. RPS Migration can also assist you on that. I am already registered in the US. Can I apply directly for registration to APRA? No, because what is contemplated in the change is the not only registration but also practice. If you only have registration in the US, then you may proceed um, with outcomes-based assessment because you belong under stream B. You have a relevant qualifications, you satisfy criteria number 1 and criteria number 3. Now, do you have accommodation in Australia? So many of our clients, no, many of our clients have their own houses now, accommodation, so we can connect you with our former clients. You see, if you are our clients, we are also helping you build your wealth here in Australia. How is the review at ACT? Is the passing rate high? Yes, very, very high. Excellent. As a matter of fact, we got 100% last September, and this is the only review center that achieved 100%. Very transparent, no? Very transparent, and you can see that in the post of Australian Certified Trainers. If you make a survey in different review centers, you will see which among these review centers is telling the truth. Okay, you can see, and we are really giving you the numbers. If they see 100%, 100%. If you see at 100% at ACT, it is 100%. If they say that they have 99%, look at the numbers if they really have 99%. Now, The review at ACT starts with online preliminaries, then a dedicated coach will be given to you. Then after that, you have the OSCE second check, and then after that, you will have the face-to-face for 14 days, wherein we have the battery test and the mock test and non-stop practice sessions, and there is always a nurse on the floor whenever you are practicing. What if I cannot find a job? Can you help me? As mentioned, RPS Migration is not a recruitment agency. However, there are other clients of ours that we have connections, so we can send your CV to them and to the partner employer, but we are not recruiting nurses. Our candidates are recruiting us, our candidates are engaging us because they want to become residents here in Australia and to become a registered nurse. If I will start the process, how can I proceed? So our case officers will be sending you the quotation and the engagement form. Fill that out and send it to us together with the engagement receipt, and we will start. If I am assessing you personally, I'm going to send you the quotation, and then if you have any questions, let me know, and then fill out the engagement form as well, and then we are going to start right away. Okay, so and you will be amazed on how we work. So if you have any questions, let me know. You may WhatsApp me at +61 415 831 158, and I am happy to answer all your questions. Thank you so much. This is your registered migration agent attorney, Renante P. Sulit. Kay RPS, sulit ang bisa mo.